What it is I came through an amazing transformation. You're
Right.
I say I started at my worst at 397 pounds when I tipped the scale. When I'm tipping the scales at 397 pounds, and I've got a little girl that's looking at me and depends on my life, and the doctors are telling me that if I didn't change, I would die in early death from that. I mean, I was morbidly obese. Over the course of 8 months, I lost 80 pounds without exercise. I thought the only way that you do it is either by starving yourself out or taking some kind of pill or surgery.
My mind is blown right now, from everything that you just said. Like, I know it's gonna reach a lot of people. I know it's gonna change people's lives because welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to True Food Podcast. Okay, today we got a treat for you. I'm just messing. That's what my brother always says when he starts his podcast. If you want to check it out, go to That's So Fire Show, okay? So let's get started. I got an amazing guest for you today. His name is Neil, okay? He got an amazing story. He's an entrepreneur. He is a father, and he went from 398 pounds to what he is today. So today he got his testimony. Okay, he's gonna share with you guys. So take your popcorn, take a seat, turn off the lights, and get ready to hear the word about God and the word about his life transformation. Are you ready? Let's get started. So Neil, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good. Really
You doing good?
Yeah.
You excited?
Absolutely.
All right.
Excited to be here with you.
I'm excited to hear about your testimony. I think you have an amazing story, a powerful story that can change people's lives.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope
yeah.
I can deliver that. That's a lot. Yeah,
That's a lot?
Yeah, that was definitely building me up pretty good there. So,
Hey, it sounds good to me.
Thank you.
So to get started, we'd like for you to introduce yourself and tell the viewers, what do you do?
Okay. All right. So yeah, my name is Neil Kirkham, and what it is I came through an amazing transformation. You're
Right.
I started at my worst at 397 pounds when I tipped the scale.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that it came from that big of a
Right.
person. I mean, I literally could not fit. If you and I were together
Right.
4 years ago, I could not have fit in this chair comfortably at all.
4 years ago.
Yes.
my
I literally,
goodness.
I remember sitting at a doctor's office going in because I had severe back pain,
Uh-huh.
and I had just I had to go in to talk to him. And I remember sitting in a chair like this, and I barely could fit in it. That's how
Wow.
wide and how big I was.
That
And
is
I
insane.
remember them going on the scale, and they kept sliding the little slider up,
Uh-huh.
and it went past the 300 mark, and then it went past the 350, and it went all the way up to 397 pounds. And I just remember the nurse kind of looking at me like, just that look. Yeah,
Right.
Everyone that's been down that road understands how that look is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I say that was
The start of it. Yeah.
it was a tough time, no doubt.
So not that's a good thing, but why didn't you go up to 400 pounds? Because I feel like that's a record.
It could have been. You know what? And that moment when you look at the scale and
Yeah.
that shock and all of it, and there's just a light bulb moment where it's like, this is it. So I probably could have tipped the scale, maybe put a heavy pair of shoes on and said, that's it.
That is 400.
400 to do that.
Yeah.
But I had never thought that I would even break the 300 threshold, let alone go all the way up to the 400 threshold. That were
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was it. That was my defining moments where I was not going to let it go past 400.
Right, yeah.
Like no matter what, I was
You're
going to
determined, yeah.
back down. Yeah. And it never started as a weight loss journey that was going to end up being a 200-pound weight loss ever. That never. I just wanted to get back down to a normal, what I thought was a normal weight.
Right.
And back then, 260, 280 pounds. I was 6'4". I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
That's a big guy, but that was a normal weight. And
Yeah.
no idea
That is
that
crazy.
you have the mindset and the faith and everything and all the parts to it to get you all the way down to 195 pounds. I mean, that
is
to
insane.
lose 200 pounds.
To lose 200 pounds. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But first, let's start with, when you first started, did you always was around that, like 300 pounds? Or is it something that gradually moved to that?
No, okay.
When you were a
so
little kid?
I was
Yeah.
always a large child. Like I
Okay.
just always remember being bigger. I was just, I was kind of that chunky kid all
Okay.
the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I never had the really good habits in there. And my parents, they were skinny. I mean, family members, stuff like that. They
Mhm.
had good habit, but I just always had, I guess, the wrong things in it, the wrong
Okay.
mindset, whatever. But I was just always that chunky kind of kid. And yeah, so as I grew up, I was big, but I was blessed to be tall. I had this
Yeah.
natural tall, I had a big build. And so I carried weight fairly well. I mean, even in
Yeah.
high school, instead of course, football and things
Mhm.
like that, athletics I was into, but I never could all the way excel.
Yeah.
The way that if I had been a little thinner and a little more athletic into it, I
Mhm.
just always carried that weight with me. And that was something that I had to hide behind. I
Yeah.
always had, I never took my shirt off. Like we never, ever. I would go to the beach or to the pool, never took my shirt off all through being a child, never through high school, never through the college time, nothing. So
Yeah.
yeah, which
Were you just afraid of what people would say, what people would think?
yeah, you carry that kind of judgment on you all the time, and it sticks with you. It really does. It's hard, and especially when you do that all the way through. I mean, I did it all the way up until I was 40 years old. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it was a habit, and it was something that just I live with, and I had created excuses and an entire thing around that. I really
Yeah.
did. I just thought that that was my identity, who I was, and everybody knew me as that big, laughing, fun guy,
Yeah.
but the big guy. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, whenever anybody came to my work or anything, they knew me as that big, jolly guy. That was it. So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah, what a change.
So what made you decide to at the age of 40, what made you decide to say, okay, this is enough, enough is enough. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to do the right things
Yes.
to get to the level that I want.
A lot of pain. Yeah. Yeah. God, he delivers in a whole bunch of ways.
Yes. Yes.
It was a tremendous amount of pressure at that time. Right at that moment, I was just going through a divorce.
Okay.
And I had a little daughter, and she wasn't even 2 years old. And I got 100% sole custody of this little girl
Mhm.
that depended on me. And as a parent, if you've ever felt that where it's you and there's no one else coming to get you, and then you start really evaluating where you're at in your life. And so it took a lot of soul searching, a lot of deep, dark. Yeah, it was some rough times. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie at all. I would say it was some dark, dark times. And in that, when I'm tipping the scales at 397 pounds, and I've got a little girl that's looking at me and depends on my life, and the doctors are telling me that if I didn't change, I would die in in early death from that. I mean, I was morbidly obese. So
Wow.
if you can imagine when that BMI tops out over that 30 mark, which I just say mine was well over that 30 mark.
Yeah.
I just say at that point, you're in the morbid obesity level. I mean, and that means you are physically shortening your life, and they can't tell you exactly how much. I mean, no
Yeah.
doctor can tell you, but they didn't make it sound like much past 45, 50 years old
Yeah.
on the track that I was on that I would be alive. And I could not, that was not going to be the end of my story.
Yeah.
And so I figured out that everything that I need to do, I had to change in my head. That's where I had to start with. And so that is why my story is so big about mindset and going to my faith and going to my just integrities and just completely redefining my story.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so in that's where I started.
So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about that because you said the mindset. I would like to touch on the mindset that gets you to be like, okay, I can do this. I'm gonna keep pushing forward because my daughter needs me.
Yes.
And I need to be here past 60, past 50, past 70.
Yes.
Right. And also another big thing is I want to know about the faith that was behind that.
Absolutely.
How did God exactly move you forward to be like, I'm going to be here with you. I need you to be here for your daughter because I have great plans for you and your daughter. And I need you to be living here past 50, past 60.
Yes.
So
perfect. So yeah, I can definitely start with those on there. Faith wise, I've always had faith in my family.
Okay.
So I grew up, I mean, my mom had us in, Bible schools and things like that as a child on there. And so I automatically had that faith. I was born again as a young child and grew up in it, but I moved away from it. And as, everyone, you kind of grow up in the world and people kind of move away and stray away. And there was parts of my life that I'm not proud of that I went through on that. And through those bad habits and things that I picked up in that, that's where, I got to that point where I'm in a marriage that no longer was completely breaking down. And God was showing me that there was a better way through this. I kept getting these scripture verses, and like my grandfather, he had, the Lord's Prayer, and there was just a lot to it. My mom was giving me all these kind of Bible readings and stuff, and it was hard to accept. At that time, I just wanted solutions. I just wanted to fix what was wrong and get it back over to what it was. But what I wasn't realizing is that, God was changing me.
Yeah.
He was changing me to bring a better person to my daughter and to everyone around me. And so, he did. He put a spotlight on things that were very dark.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was addictions on my wife's side that they came to a head, and they were really bad. I mean, really, really bad. And so I made just these non-negotiable things. I made basically like an agreement with God that I was not going to go back to those old ways. I was not going to be that old story anymore.
Amen.
And I was going to, put scripture verses up on my wall. I was going to read to my daughter every night. And I set them in stone. That was it. And in that hardcore, I mean, it's like Old Testament, hardcore 10 commandments, back to truth, integrity, honesty, do not lie, do not, and just completely like locking that back down. That's been all the freedoms I needed. That's how I was able to start the diet that I did. That's how I started getting up earlier and doing the exercises. That's how I got through all those parts. Yeah.
So when you start doing those exercises, would you say like you pray before and then you work out, or is it like you sit down and meditate on God's word and read and then you get to your workout? Or is it just like, okay, I'm just gonna work out and see what happens?
Not at all. Yeah. So in the very beginning, I didn't even start with a workout. I just knew that the foods and the things that I was serving me were not right. I just knew that. Yeah. And so what did is I came up and I was like, I want to be this way. I said 222 pounds at the time. That was like my goal. I was like, okay, this is it. And I said, God, how are we going to get there? Like, what are we going to do to get this? Yeah. And there was just, I never read a book about dieting. And I did old fashioned diets before that. I did all kinds of ones, juice, smoothies, stuff like that. I'd listen to all kinds, but I was like, what is it that's going to serve me? And so I just came up with a diet of eggs and some fruits and proteins and eliminating sugars. And I was like, I'm going to stick to this. I mean, like I'd always done something and got off and done something, got off. I was like, this time I'm going to really lock this in.
Stick with it,
And I'm going to do this. And no matter what. And over the course of 8 months, I lost 80 pounds without exercise.
Oh my goodness.
I never even got like a step in other than just doing the regular work, the regular things.
Yeah.
That's all I did was just in my exercise. And you want to hear the worst part is I lost 80 pounds and no one around me even knew I lost 1 pound.
No way.
Yes. I lost 80 pounds and not a soul even knew, other than like my mom, that I was even on a diet at all. Didn't even know that I lost weight at all. That's how overweight I was. I lost 80 pounds. I went from 397 pounds to 318 pounds, and nobody knows.
Oh my goodness.
And you're looking for this validation. Yeah. And God's like, nope, you're not going to get that. No.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, well, then I'm going to start to work out. And I had an elliptical machine. That basically was one of those like coat hooks that everyone has, like, the treadmill upstairs that no one has used in whatever, like, years. Yeah. So I had one of those elliptical machines that my mom had given me as a present, like as a pre-COVID kind of a thing, because she could see that I needed it. And it had been back there collecting dust for over 2 years at that point. And I blew the dust off of it. I synced up the app to my phone and I started. And when I first started, 4 minutes, all I could do was get on that machine for 4 minutes.
Only 4 minutes.
4 minutes. And I was so winded that I could not make it past 4 minutes. I remember that. Now I remember that was another moment, like looking at the scale at 397 pounds. Like it was like 4 minutes and I'm dripping. I mean, just like completely soaked in sweat. Yeah. And I remember just like, okay, now this, I can do better.
So it started getting better and better every time you do it. Because I know the first time of everything is hard.
Oh my goodness.
So,
yeah. It was a lot. It was some sore days out there. And I've learned to do slow but steady pressure.
Okay.
So just like my diet, I was not going to be hungry. I was not going to starve myself. Whatever I was going to do was going to be high in protein. It was going to be good lean proteins, but never to starve myself ever.
Yeah.
My salads are huge. Still to this day, I put big salads with chicken on them and all kinds of different stuff and salad dressing. Like my breakfast is, I have like 4 eggs with onions and peppers.
Yeah.
Like I do not starve. I eat well and clean, but never starve, because I've done that before where I did like a starvation diet.
Yeah.
It is awful. Yeah.
Wow.
You do not want to, if anybody that's out there has done the starvation and has felt those effects where your metabolism stops and you feel hopeless out of it, that's a desperate situation. So I've learned to make these ones where I'm not going to starve, and I'm never going to do something that I'm going to rip myself apart. So I just do slow and steady pressure all the way through. And that's what I do with my workout. Yeah. So now, don't get me wrong. Over time, I wanted a more athletic build, and I wanted more.
Of course,
as you keep going, you learn that your body is this amazing miracle that God gave us.
Of course,
healing material.
It's a temple.
I mean, is it amazing that I could shrink from a 397-pound man down to 195 pounds, and it's the same body, it's the same thing. I mean, it absolutely blows me away.
That is amazing. That is an amazing story. So for anybody who's working out, who's trying to eat the right things, that's like barely working out and want to give up from the first moment they walk on a treadmill and can't even do 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
So what would you say to them that would get them to keep going, to push themselves?
Okay, so a couple things that I learned, and these were big for sure, is you need to find a Bible verse that ties it in for you, and you need to put it on your wall. You can buy ones that are framed. You can just make your own whiteboard, whatever. I don't care if you just print it out and just type it and put it in a little frame and print it out. But you need to have a Bible verse that you go to. And mine has always been about Christ that's in me and he strengthens me in Ephesians. I knew that. And then, like I said, my grandfather, he always gave me the Lord's Prayer. And so I would say those valley of the shadow of death, that resonates with me, because there's a lot of times where it feels like the valley of the when you're really, really hungry and you're really, really tired and you have to do it again. You got to wake up first thing in the morning, and not every day is sunshine, birds chirping, beautiful day. So those I tied in with and that was huge for me. Is that I tied in my faith, and then I started making habits, and I realized that all the habits I had before were not serving me. I say eating late at night, having these bad snack foods around in the cabinets, ready, accessible for me, they were not serving me. I say getting up late or staying up too late, or, just all the ones out there, watching TV too long. The habits that were out there was like, okay, what am I willing to sacrifice, to give up now to make those changes? And you have to have a real talk with yourself. I put a mirror up in my room, in my workout area. It was a full-length one. And I really just look at myself and say, okay, today's the day. We're going to do this. I look at my prayer. I say my prayer, and then I get at it. And I do that. I still do that to this day. I'll do that for the rest of my life. I will always do that forever.
That's amazing. So what would you say that the feeling of losing so much weight to be where you're at today, does that help you feel better, live a healthier life and so on?
Confidence is amazing. There is nothing better than the confidence that comes through doing a transformation like that. I just say I did not understand the power of a transformation until I've actually done it. And there's transformations in the mind that no one sees outside. My transformation's been physical. People have literally got to watch me go from this big, overweight, out of shape man to this thin, athletic guy. And it is amazing. Your energy levels that you have, like I said, your temple that you get to build for God through every person else, your testimony that you get to give back in service is amazing. All the facets of it, more than I could ever. I can't even bottle all up into an explanation, but I could tell you joy. Pure joy, pure happiness, and just, it's an amazing freedom.
Yeah.
I say I lived under like a chained down thing of food, and just you feel like people are judging you. And I
Yeah.
lived that way for a very, very long time, my whole life. I mean,
Mhm.
from a child all the way up through, and that is a really tough thing when you
Yeah.
feel that judgment all the time. Most of the judgment's probably not even true. It's just in your mind of what you think people
You're
think of
human,
you.
yeah.
But yeah, when you're, like I say, trying to fit yourself into a chair or behind a table or in an airplane or whatever, and you're
Yeah.
trying, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
It is a
Very
tough,
traumatic. Yeah.
yeah, and you don't want to have to deal that. And then I thought the only way that you do it is either by starving yourself out or taking some kind of pill or surgery. I
Yeah.
thought those were the only options out there. I really didn't know that there was another option of mindset and faith,
Yeah.
and then and changing those in. I had no idea. I
Yeah.
lived in just, I guess, another reality of that one. But when I really accepted that my
Yeah.
mind will change first and the body will change afterwards,
Hmm.
that was huge.
Wow. Wow. I feel like you should write a book. I feel like you
I've
should
heard
come up
that
with a
more
course
than
or
once
something.
twice.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely, I do have a lot of these notes taken down, and
Uh-huh.
they're becoming quite a few books out of it, like
Yeah.
notebook bars. So I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
It's
You
definitely
should
coming.
definitely do something like that. I don't know if do you have like any courses right now about that? How people can lose weight and have the faith that you have and so on to help
I
us.
do have a website.
Okay.
It's Integrity Weight Loss Solutions.
Okay.
And so
Check it out.
Yeah, check me out online. Say Integrity Weight Loss Solutions.
Mhm.
But and I do coaching. I just started this as
Okay.
something that I can do to help and give back on there. And we do have a community that you can join. It's free. And you can definitely join on there. And it has a lot of videos talking about your mindset and how to change those things, because that's been one of my key takeaways out of it for sure, is to see what the mind truly can do. And
Yeah.
that's God's gift.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it is God's gift to have. I mean, you have so many things in the Bible, in the Word, that talk about your mind and watching your thoughts
Mhm.
and your temple. I mean, there are so many parts to it that as you're reading the Bible, you don't even realize that
Mhm.
they're in there until all of a sudden you're looking for those and they're everywhere.
Start clicking. Yep.
Oh, they're in there, and it's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know everybody's mind is blown right now. Okay, from 397, I said 98 earlier, but 397
Yes.
to now, right?
Yes.
I know that story is amazing, but let's move forward to your entrepreneurship,
Okay.
right? So
Yes.
how did you end up doing the stuff that you are doing right now with the boats and stuff like that? How does that play with what God has planned for you? for your life?
Gotcha. Yeah. So I just say family business. We have a boat rental company down on
Okay.
the beach, I
Yeah.
say, which is awesome. I've learned small family business. You learn that you have to do all the facets.
Yeah.
We drive the boats, we clean the boats,
Mhm.
we're customer service,
Do everything.
all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship. Yeah. You wear a lot of hats. I'm sure you know as well. So
Yeah.
and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of late nights, and it's a lot of dedication into it for sure.
Mhm.
And this has been 20 years that
Oh,
we've
wow.
been doing that business.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of dedication in that one for sure.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those things that's always been a top priority in my
Mhm.
life. I would say is always pushing that in there. And it's been a family one that we've done together. Now, this weight loss journey, this is something that resonates more for me. And so
Yeah.
that's where I started this business as something to give back.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
that's maybe my main one, is to figure out to bottle up everything that I've learned out of this and try to give it back to as many people as possible.
So basically, everything is lined up. Everything
Yes.
correlates for you.
Yes.
From the weight loss, the business, and family life.
And the great thing is I have a lot of key things, in my one business that carry over and help start. And everyone around me has encouraged me. I mean, everyone that sees this weight loss journey is like, you've got to do this. Like, yeah, you're meant for this.
Yeah.
And that's when everything clicks and lines up just right. And it's amazing. But yeah, entrepreneurship, it's a tough one. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, through my entrepreneurship, I learned how to take control of a business, but I always
Mhm.
put myself last.
Oh
And
wow,
yeah.
that is huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That was a hard one. Is that when you have to say that I'm going to put myself as a priority because I'm the leader of the ship, just like
Yeah.
you are the leader of your family, just like you are your leader in your community. And
Yeah.
when you step up and say, this is it, and I've got to take care of this, first.
Yeah. I mean, look at Jesus, right? Why did he
Yes.
come? He didn't come to be served. He came to serve. So he put himself last and put everybody else's needs in front of him.
Yes.
He's healing people. He's feeding people. I'm sure he didn't eat first. He let everybody eat first. And he also says, whoever is first shall be last.
That's right.
Whoever is last shall be first. So
That's it.
yeah, that is powerful.
Yes. Yeah. And it's been a huge journey on it for sure. And it's a huge part of it. But yeah, I've learned it for sure. And in parts of the entrepreneurship, I learned how to set the habits and goals and things like that allowed me to be so much freer in my weight loss, like meal prepping. I thought that when I go to work, I eat whenever the work was over, which could have been 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight. I mean, all of you out there that have done those kind of jobs, you'll understand me on that one. Where then I was able to okay, I can bring a salad with chicken and a thing with me, and then I can have that pre-prepped out and I can eat at certain times again. And so again, I learned through these times and I was able to take full advantage of it. So it's really cool.
Well, I feel like you have a lot of secrets, like to be successful in your weight loss, to be successful in your entrepreneurship, and to be successful as a single father.
Yeah. I think a biggest one that I would say is consistency. I'd say consistency, habit forming, these ones, goal setting, these tie down. Say these have got to be your fundamentals in your life. Say, and when you start putting these things first and you put God right there at the very top, and then you start putting down right underneath of it that you're going to be consistent, you're going to have accountability for it, and then you're just going to just make action on every one of those as you make these habits. The rest of it, it'll figure itself out. I promise you. I say, as long as you're putting it in the right order and you're honest with yourself and with your Lord,
nothing you can't do.
No.
Wow.
That's what I say. Christ is in you. I say no one else and nothing else can be against you at all.
Nothing. What the Bible verse says, he says, whatever God says, if Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. If God says no, nobody can say yes.
That's right.
He's always with you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As we, slowly finishing this podcast, is there anything that you would like to share with people that we have not discussed today, or anything that you would like to discuss?
The big one that I can tell you through my weight loss journey that I did not have in the beginning that really, really helped me. And maybe this will help your listeners too. And it's about self-worth and being worthy to make the weight loss journey and to have the business, to be an entrepreneur. You have to feel inside that you're worthy enough, that God made you as a special creature, and that we're supposed to do these things, and that whatever journey in life you're at, to understand that, you're destined for greatness.
Yeah.
Every person out here, you are, I am, all of us, every person out there is destined for greatness.
Amen.
And as long as you have the self-worth inside and stop going through those negative thoughts and letting those keep coming in and taking control of you, and as long as you can just say, no, I am worthy to do this. And I have this, that right there is still one of the hardest things that I still deal with, is that I am worthy to do all these things.
Yeah.
And so are you. And so is every one of our listeners out there.
You hear that? You hear that? Listen to this man. Go check him out, okay? Go check him out. So I know we've been talking a lot about weight loss. I know we've been talking about entrepreneurship and as a single father. We have not touched about the single fatherhood and the divorce. And you were talking about traumatic times, hard times that was happening in the beginning. So would you like to go deeper into that? So for the listeners that's listening, that's going through a divorce or whatever's happening in their lives, so how they can deal with that?
Yeah. So if you're out there and you're going through a divorce, a single parent, I can definitely relate with you. And the big one that I found is my integrity. And that's when I knew it resonated with me. When I finally wrote down that my integrity, my reputation, what people think and do say about me, even when I'm not there, and that they're going to know that I have an amazing, just my sense of self. And
Yeah.
that, when I say something, I'm going to keep my promises no
Yep.
matter what, to my daughter, to myself, to everyone else around me. When I say something, it's true. And if I
Yep.
don't know the answer, I will find out and I will get back to it. And I will keep that as my word is my bond, my oath. Like, that is it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the middle of a divorce, I can tell you that you need to find that utmost integrity. You have to make that your standard. And so I made myself a creed, an actual creed that I wrote on my whiteboard. And as say, I put it up there as that my family,
Yeah.
me and my daughter, we are going to live with integrity. We're going to keep promises to
Yes.
each other, to ourselves and to others, no matter what. And we were going to have a growth mindset, a growth of knowledge. And no matter what, we were going to continue to always strive to
Yeah.
get better. So you were asking about how you build the weight loss, as far as the diet, as far as everything else, by growing that knowledge and
Yeah.
having the integrity and having the honesty to yourself, that you say, listen, I may not know the answer to this right now, but I can find out, and I'm going to come back to it, and I'm going to do it the right way. I'm
Yeah.
not going to keep doing it by guessing or by lying to myself or lying to somebody else or trying to figure it out just any kind of way. I'm going to do it the right way. And those ironclad, set stone, putting a creed on the wall, that integrity,
Yes.
that was huge. That was huge in those dark times, because I'll tell you what, when you're going through a divorce, it sounds like it's a one-day event. Anyone that's gone through that can tell you it's a year of court cases
Yeah.
and trials, and you have your daughter with you that doesn't understand, is asking you really tough questions.
Yeah.
Like, where's mom? What is going on? And it's tough.
It's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot to it that you better have integrity, because if one person or the other tries to start undermining or anything, all you're doing is hurting yourself and your little child on there for you. And those are the times where you're going to go back to overeating. You're going to go back to binging.
Yeah.
You're going to go back to, and so that's where you need that core fundamental even more than ever. And that's what I found in that, through those really, really tough times of going through that divorce and going through, I mean, there was so much with the business was, struggling because I wasn't there as an entrepreneur. If you took yourself out of it, it's almost like everyone's lost, and you're trying to figure it out and pick up all the pieces. That was a dark time. And that oath, that creed, that integrity, that was everything.
My mind is blown right now, from everything that you just said. Like, I know it's gonna reach a lot of people. I know it's gonna change people's lives, because a lot of people are going through divorce and they don't know how to deal with it. A lot of people are going through the entrepreneurship where they don't know what to do because of how their life is going. I know a lot of people that's going through the weight loss process. I gained a few pounds. People don't know that because I'm 6'4". I went up to like 220, but now I'm going back down. I'm trying to get muscles. So I sure hope the lessons that you have teach us today, that's going to help me, to get to the point where I need to be, to have the mindset, to always put God first in everything that I do. So I greatly appreciate what you have said today. And I hope that the viewers are listening. I hope that you know exactly what's happening and you know exactly how to fix it, okay? So if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to do, go check out his page. Go check out his page. I don't know why you wouldn't check out his page. Can you tell them one more time what your page is? Because they need to go there. They
Absolutely.
need to know.
It's Integrity Weight Loss Solutions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
check me out.
And the weight loss and the entrepreneurship, your business as well?
Yes. Yeah. It's under there.
All
under
the same?
business. Yeah. So I say the Boat Rental one is a different one, but yeah, for as far as my coaching, I say Integrity Weight Loss Solutions, and come check me out. I would be glad to talk to anybody one-on-one for sure.
Awesome. Hey, go subscribe to his page. Go subscribe to Truthful Podcast. And if you haven't yet, okay? And I hope that God bless you today with the words that My friend Neil here has been sharing all this time, okay? So I'm grateful for you to be here. I'm grateful for the journey that you have been through to be here to share with us today. And I hope that God continue to bless you, your business, your life, your kids, and I hope that you continue pushing and sharing the word that he has for you.
Thank you.
Okay. God bless you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
Yes, sir.